This is a Toleware document box from the late 19th century. So, what is Toleware? Well, essentially, it's painted tin. Sometimes it's also called Japanware, and that name came from the efforts to simulate the look of black lacquer or red lacquer work, Japanese work, which was so popular in the early 19th century. This box goes a little bit further than that in that it's not painted a single colour. It's painted to be a faux oak, to resemble the wood, give it a look of a wooden box. And we can see the grain here simulating the oak. But also to the top, we've got these gilt decorative lines running around it just to lift it. And of course, producing items out of tin was a much quicker and so cheaper process. Folding and pressing tin would allow you to make these items much quicker and so also sell them much quicker. You can imagine there's far less work in making this than a cabinet maker cutting and jointing the wood to make a box and then finishing it. But even though it was a cheaper process to make these items, you still had to make the box fashionable and appealing and hopefully stand out from those that your competitors were producing. And certainly having one in a faux oak would do that. Even today, it still jumps out as quite an interesting item. The quality is quite good in that it's got this lovely gilt brass handle. Just lock that so it makes it easier to hold, and you can see that there. It's also got a brass shield shaped escutcheon there. So if we open it up, we've got quite a bright green interior, which again jumps out and lifts it to the eye. And you can see these brass discs for holding the handle in place. Now this box has got a double wall to the front, and that's purely for housing the lock. Some boxes in the mid-19th century onwards were made to be fireproof, and the way that they did that was by creating a vacuum with double walls all the way around the box, so that if your premises caught fire, hopefully the important documents in a box like this wouldn't smoulder or burn. This box doesn't seek to do that. It's simply a box for holding papers, for carrying papers around, or documents, rather than fireproofing it. And if we look to the sides of the box, we can see that the paint has worn in places, and we can see the tin coming through. Now, it's a late 19th century box. How do we know it's late 19th century rather than early 20th century? I mean, you could look at this and you could think, well, you know what, that could be 1910, 1920 in date maybe. Well, the reason we know is because of a lock, and hopefully you can see the top of the lock there. You'll see that it says VR, and VR, of course, is for Victoria Regina, and that tells us that the box was made, not the box, the lock, but we can also assume the box, because the lock is original, was made in the reign of Queen Victoria, which gives us our late 19th century date. Now, inside the box, we've also got a sheet of A4 paper, just to show you that it's still very usable today. And we can see that it's plenty big enough on the length. The width, it's a little bit tight. It's just a touch too short, but of course the paper will fold slightly and drop in there without causing it any damage. So to sum it up, it's a late 19th century faux oak painted tin box, Toleware box. Cracking handle to the top, still very usable today, and it's from the late 19th century, made in the reign of Queen Victoria. You can see it on our website, campaignfurniture.com, where we've also got photographs of it and good description, and a price, of course.